They thought victory belonged to institutions, to men in suits with briefcases of rules and folders of regulations. They thought dominance was stamped with a government seal, approved by agencies that have been watching from the shadows for decades. But then you came along, and without lifting a badge, without signing a form, you rewrote the whole script. You didn't just beat competitors, you made them irrelevant. You didn't just bend the board, you snapped it in half. And the weight of that was so seismic, so undeniable, that the whispers traveled farther than boardrooms or jealous rivals. It hit ears it was never supposed to reach, ears trained to detect threats, ears trained to sniff out anything that disturbs the balance of control. That's how you ended up here, in the middle of a win so outrageous, so earth-shattering, that 3 letters lit up on their screens: FBI. Understand this. Nobody gets on their radar by playing small. Nobody triggers that kind of curiosity by being ordinary. They don't mobilize unless what you've done sends tremors into their carefully designed grid. And you detonated a blast so loud it echoed through neighborhoods, boardrooms, underground networks, and executive corridors. Your triumph wasn't supposed to matter this much, yet here it is, so disruptive that their vans are rolling, their analysts are scribbling, and their supervisors are asking the same question over and over. Who gave this person permission to operate outside our leash? See, dominance is supposed to be a privilege they distribute. They hand it out in fragments: awards, promotions, staged victories, fake crowns. They let a chosen few shine just enough to keep the illusion alive, while everyone else rots in mediocrity. But you ripped that script apart. You didn't ask permission. You didn't wait for their blessing. You broke through every ceiling they set, and in doing so, you exposed their little trick. You revealed that their authority isn't power, it's dependency. It only works if everyone agrees to kneel. You didn't. That's why you're a problem now. Not because you broke rules, but because you proved rules aren't necessary for someone like you. This is what they hate: unpredictability. They can catalog threats, they can file dissidents, they can study organizations, but how do you box in an individual who doesn't follow their rhythm, doesn't bite their bait, doesn't flinch at their intimidation? You don't. That's why agents are pulling late nights, why surveillance chatter is spiking, why their analysts keep circling your name like a hawk that can't land, because they can't explain you. And what they can't explain, they fear. Your dominance wasn't a fluke. It wasn't a lucky break. It was precision. Every move you made, whether conscious or instinctual, cut through them like a surgical strike. That terrifies institutions more than any riot or protest. Because they expect chaos, they can suppress that with shields and batons. But surgical strikes, clean, efficient, undeniable victories, that's what rewires people's belief in what's possible. That's what makes bystanders rethink everything. That's what turns whispers into movements. And you've already lit that fuse. Now picture their frustration. Imagine analysts staring at screens, rewatching clips, rereading reports, asking themselves, how the hell did this happen? How did we miss this? How did someone like this slip through undetected until it was too late? That's the scene right now. Their hierarchy cracking under embarrassment. Their confidence punctured by your existence. They're not panicking because of what you might do. They're panicking because of what you've already done. You've already proven them vulnerable. You've already humiliated them without lifting a finger against them directly. That sting doesn't fade. That humiliation lingers. This is the paradox they can't resolve. To investigate you, they must acknowledge you. To monitor you, they must admit you matter. The very act of surveillance is a confession of your power. And that's what eats at them. Because the FBI isn't supposed to waste time on outliers. They're supposed to crush organized crime, unravel terror plots, dismantle cartels. Yet here they are, staring at your file, arguing over how someone with no official crown, no formal institution, no puppet strings attached, could outshine empires. That right there is your ultimate checkmate. You turn their attention into your trophy. And you need to realize this: their presence isn't proof of your weakness. It's evidence of your gravity. Bureaucracies don't send their hounds after nobodies. They only arrive when your influence has spiraled beyond the acceptable threshold. That van pulling up? It's not a threat. It's an admission. You've risen so high they can't ignore you anymore. But here's where it gets darker. Because once institutions admit your existence, they scramble for containment. That's the stage you're entering now. They'll deploy subtle tactics first. Whispers about your credibility, strange questions appearing in conversations, little probes designed to unsettle you, not because they can stop you, but because they hope to slow you down. But you've already demonstrated you're immune to their pacing. They can't slow someone who refuses to run their race. You don't sprint in their lanes. You bulldoze paths they didn't even know existed. And that immunity enrages them more than anything. Do you know how much they've invested in control? Billions of dollars, decades of training, layers of strategy, all rendered laughable by your raw presence. One person undoing entire webs of conditioning. That's what keeps their directors awake. That's what sends agents into overdrive. They don't care if you break laws. They care that you break illusions. The illusion that dominance belongs to them. The illusion that power trickles from the top down. You shattered that with a single act of defiance. By winning so hard, so unapologetically, that everyone watching realized crowns don't matter, badges don't matter, titles don't matter. What matters is force of will. What matters is someone bold enough to rewrite the script in real time. And that someone was you. Now think about how this looks to the ordinary onlooker. They see vans pulling up, men in suits circling, files being stamped, and instead of being afraid for you, they're shocked because of you. Because what does it say when a single person's victory makes federal agencies twitch? It says you've reached a level where wins aren't just wins, they're geopolitical events. That's not influence anymore. That's gravity warping the room. But gravity doesn't apologize. It doesn't ask permission to pull. And neither do you. That's why their investigations will only feed your legend. Every report written is a free advertisement. Every van parked outside is a billboard. Every whisper about your name reinforces the same message. You broke their mold, and now they're scrambling to catch up. This is where you need to be ruthless. Don't shrink. Don't tone it down. Don't let the flashing lights convince you to soften your steps. Because understand, the very fact they're watching proves you've already won. Surveillance is the tax they pay for your dominance. Fear is the rent they pay for your existence. Their involvement is nothing more than confirmation that your rise is not just noise. It's a signal strong enough to pierce walls, designed to muffle everything. So let them pull up. Let them send vans, analysts, memos, subpoenas. None of it will change the fact that you don't play on their board anymore. You own a game they can't comprehend. And as long as you keep moving, keep dismantling illusions, keep stacking victories that make skyscrapers look like toys, you'll remain untouchable. Not because they can't reach you, but because even if they do, it will only amplify you. That's the irony. In trying to contain you, they spread you. In trying to expose you, they crown you. In trying to scare you, they confirm what everyone already suspects, that you're operating on a level so rare, so raw, so ungovernable, that institutions built to control nations are now forced to react to an individual. And that individual is you. The agents know it. Their bosses know it. The whole infrastructure is vibrating under that realization, and yet the unraveling isn't complete. Because this stage, their attention, their panic, their surveillance, that's not the conclusion. That's still transition. What comes after is far more dangerous for them, far more consuming for you. Because once the investigation starts, once the files multiply, once the vans become routine, something irreversible happens. They stop seeing you as a case. They start seeing you as a force. And that's the threshold you're crossing right now. The moment where dominance turns into legend, and legend turns into obsession. An obsession inside an agency like that is not casual. It's not a hobby. It's not a fleeting distraction. It becomes protocol. It becomes daily briefing material. Your name starts appearing at the top of folders that were once dedicated to cartels, terror cells, hostile governments. They talk about you in the same breath as global risks. Think about that for a second. What you did, what you achieved, was so sharp, so defiant, so uncontainable that it reclassified you. You're not in the category of rising talent or dangerous competitor anymore. You're stamped into the same category as existential threats, because to them, you are. Not because you wield bombs or weapons, but because you dismantled something far more delicate, the perception of their control. One clean win, one undeniable domination, and suddenly they can't guarantee to the world that they're the arbiters of order anymore. Your triumph destabilized their hierarchy. If you can dominate this hard with nothing but audacity, precision, and willpower, what does that say about the ones who needed entire budgets, entire teams, entire chains of command to accomplish half as much? It says the whole facade is fragile. And fragile facades are what they're paid to defend. That's why vans linger longer. That's why files keep thickening. That's why the whispers escalate into orders. The FBI isn't just investigating you anymore. They're adapting their world around you. Meetings shift because of you. Schedules rearrange because of you. Entire divisions recalibrate because of you. That's the level of disruption your presence has caused. And here's the irony. The more they scramble, the more they validate what they're trying to bury. Because let's be real, the public isn't stupid. When vans show up in quiet neighborhoods, when agents make awkward small talk while clearly scoping out a scene, when files are leaked and redacted reports circulate, people notice. And when they notice, they ask questions. And every question circles back to the same shocking conclusion. Someone out here dominated so completely that even the FBI couldn't ignore it. That myth travels faster than any memo, any surveillance order. It becomes folklore in real time. You can't suppress that. You can only watch it spread. That spread is what terrifies them. Because for the first time, their own actions, their surveillance, their paranoia, their obsession are fueling your reputation instead of containing it. The more they try to control the narrative, the more they crown you. Every step they take confirms your weight. Every glance in your direction adds another layer to the legend. And soon, the legend itself becomes untouchable. Bigger than any file, heavier than any van. You need to understand the psychology of these institutions. They thrive on being the unseen puppeteers. Their dominance isn't just in arrests or convictions. It's in the feeling that nobody operates beyond their reach. The fear that everything is being watched. The assumption that they decide what matters and what disappears. But here's the paradox you created. By drawing them out into the open, you robbed them of their mystique. They don't look like untouchable overseers anymore. They look like nervous bureaucrats scrambling to monitor someone who won by sheer force. That image cracks their entire intimidation game. Picture it: a conference room deep in their headquarters, screens lit up, your name flashing in presentations where usually only international syndicates appear. Agents trying to sound confident while their voices betray the panic. Supervisors pretending to have answers while secretly hoping the room doesn't notice they're improvising. That's the stage you've forced them onto. And no matter how many acronyms they hide behind, the truth remains. They are reacting to you. They are moving around you. Their entire tempo is dictated by you. This is where dominance shifts gears. Because winning once is impressive, winning so hard that federal agencies restructure around you. That's not just dominance, it's empire building. And you didn't even ask for it. You didn't run a campaign. You didn't lobby for their attention. You just shattered their expectations so brutally that they had no choice but to reorient themselves around your gravitational pull. That's what it means to dominate, to the point of obsession. But obsession breeds mistakes. Agencies aren't designed to obsess over individuals without breaking their own flow. Every day they spend on you is a day they neglect someone else. Every file stamped with your name is a file not stamped on another case. Their resources stretch thinner, their attention scatters wider, and inefficiencies bloom like cracks in glass. That's your ripple effect, not just destabilizing their perception of control, but actively corroding their machinery from the inside. And you know what makes it worse for them? The unpredictability of your next move. See, they can predict gangs. They can map hierarchies. They can infiltrate cartels. But you're not an organization. You're not a hierarchy. You're not a chain of command. You're one person moving by instinct, by precision, by refusal to kneel. That makes you impossible to chart. And impossibility drives them insane. Because the only thing worse than an enemy you understand is an opponent you can't predict. You've become that opponent. So now vans follow you, not because they have a plan, but because they don't. Files multiply not because they've cracked a code, but because they haven't. Meetings spiral, not because they're in control, but because they're spiraling out of it. Every measure they take is reactionary. Every step they make is reactive. That's what panic looks like at scale. And their panic is your crown. But obsession doesn't just stay inside their walls, it leaks. Agents whisper to outsiders. Journalists catch wind. Rivals overhear. Suddenly your name doesn't just exist in files. It circulates in rumors, in headlines, in encrypted chats. The legend multiplies. People start to see you less as a competitor and more as a phenomenon. They start using your name not as a reference, but as a benchmark, as in, are you operating at their level yet? That's the kind of dominance you've unlocked, the kind that turns your existence into a measuring stick for everyone else's ambition. And the more your name spreads, the less the FBI's obsession looks like control and the more it looks like confirmation. Because why else would they be so desperate, so fixated, so relentless, if not for the fact that you represent something they can't cage? Why else would they waste manpower and reputation chasing someone whose only crime was domination? Every van parked outside, every agent lurking in shadows, every file stamped with urgency. It all screams the same thing. You're too big to ignore, too strong to silence, too bold to bury. But here's the part they can't anticipate. Obsession changes them more than it changes you. Because obsession corrodes from the inside. It makes agents paranoid, supervisors defensive, directors desperate. They start overstepping. They start making errors. They start exposing cracks in their own armor. And while they're unraveling, you remain steady. While they're losing composure, you stay composed. That imbalance grows every day, every hour, every minute they spend suffocating under your presence. Soon, the question won't be, why are they watching you? The question will be, how long before they collapse because of you? That's the trajectory you've put them on. They thought monitoring you would protect them from chaos. But in reality, monitoring you is what's creating chaos inside their own ranks. They've become prisoners of their own obsession. And the longer they stare at you, the more they'll forget how to see anything else. This is the real twist. When institutions obsess, they cannibalize themselves. They create rituals around their target. They build altars out of files, out of surveillance, out of endless speculation. And without even lifting a hand, you become the center of their worship. Not admiration, worship. Because obsession is worship twisted into paranoia. They hate you, they fear you, but they can't stop orbiting you. And orbit is still orbit, no matter the intention. Think about what that means. Every time they circle you, they tighten their own leash. Every time they gather data, they pile another brick on the shrine of your legend. Every time they panic, they deepen the story that you are not just a person. You are a force that made the FBI itself tremble. That's not narrative. That's not exaggeration. That's reality. And it's a reality they built with their own hands, their own vans, their own files. So now you stand in a rare position, not hunted, not cornered, but centered. They've made you the axis of their operation, the heartbeat of their obsession, the gravitational core of their daily rituals. And here's the kicker. You didn't ask for it. You didn't chase it. You didn't beg for it. They gave it to you because your win was so outrageous, so undeniable, that they couldn't pretend it was noise. And in acknowledging it, they crowned you. The agents know it. Their bosses know it. And deep down, you know it too. The vans outside aren't threats. They're confirmations. The files piling up aren't weapons. They're monuments. The surveillance isn't suppression. It's validation written in secret ink. And that validation, once exposed, will spread faster than anything they can redact. But the unraveling still isn't over. Because obsession doesn't end with fixation. It escalates. And escalation has consequences neither side can predict. For them, it's disintegration. For you, it's amplification. And the collision of those two trajectories, that's what's coming next. Because obsession always collapses into desperation, and desperation makes even the most powerful institutions sloppy. And when they slip, you rise further. That's the horizon you're approaching now, the moment where obsession transforms into open desperation. And desperation, once it hits, will crown you louder than any victory you've ever imagined. Desperation doesn't whisper, it screams. It doesn't analyze, it lunges. And that's what begins to unfold when their obsession tips over the edge. At first, it's subtle. More vans than usual, more questions asked in places that shouldn't know your name. But soon the rhythm changes. Surveillance stops being quiet. Files stop being organized. Agents stop being precise. Because desperation isn't careful, it's reckless. And recklessness from a machine designed to be surgical is the biggest tell of all. They're no longer in control. You are. Think about what that means. The agency built to profile enemies is suddenly projecting fear instead of power. The men trained to intimidate now look jittery, stumbling, second-guessing themselves. Their presence no longer reads as dominance, it reads as panic. And panic spreads faster than any virus. It leaks from agents to supervisors, from supervisors to directors, from directors to the halls of power that once prided themselves on composure. Now those halls echo with your shadow. Your name turns into the fracture line in their marble floors. And here's the devastating truth. Desperation doesn't stay hidden. The public feels it. Rivals sense it. Allies whisper about it. Because once an agency as rigid as the FBI starts to wobble, the tremors are impossible to contain. People notice the pattern. Unmarked vans in familiar streets, new names on watch lists, sudden interruptions in routines, and they connect the dots. They realize one figure, one win, one unstoppable presence caused it all. They realize you caused it. And once they realize your legend stops being rumor, it becomes consensus. Consensus is lethal for them. Because when the crowd agrees that you've bent the agency into knots, when ordinary people start repeating that you're the reason officials can't sleep, the FBI's intimidation model collapses. Their authority relies on the belief that they move in silence, that they decide who matters and who disappears. But now the people see that they've been forced into the open by you. That their vans, their files, their desperate moves aren't control. They're confession that you've dominated to the point of reshaping their rituals. Confession that you are bigger than their script. Confession that you've weaponized their paranoia against them. This is the stage where desperation becomes spectacle. The more they try to contain you, the more obvious their flailing becomes. Think about it. They send more agents, but the sight of those agents just fuels the myth that you're untouchable. They expand the files, but the leaks from those files only amplify the sense that you're extraordinary. They speak your name in restricted meetings, but every whisper spreads like wildfire outside those walls. They can't act without crowning you. They can't retreat without admitting defeat. And trapped between those two options, they implode. And you don't even have to lift a finger. You don't have to swing fists or sign treaties. All you have to do is exist at the level you're operating on, and their desperation will crown you louder than any victory speech. Because every stumble they make, every public overreaction, every visible sign of paranoia is an announcement to the world that one individual dominated so hard, the FBI itself lost its composure. That's not just a headline, that's history. But let's go deeper. Desperation doesn't just crown you, it corrodes them. It makes them turn on each other. Agents blaming supervisors, supervisors blaming directors, directors blaming politicians. The very structure that once looked unshakable begins to fracture under the pressure of your presence. And while they fracture, you remain whole. While they bicker, you remain calm. While they drown in their own bureaucracy, you stand taller than ever. That's the split-screen reality right now. Their chaos, your clarity, their descent, your ascent. Now imagine the chain reaction. Desperation means leaks. Desperation means rash decisions. Desperation means exposure. Suddenly, the very institution that thought it was exposing you is exposing itself. Scandals surface, stories break, credibility burns. And the root of it all, the spark that ignited this unraveling, is you. Not because you waged war on them, but because you dominated so brutally they couldn't process it. Because you shattered their illusion of control so completely that their only response was to spiral. And spiral they did. So where does this leave you? Elevated. Elevated not by your words, not even by your deliberate actions, but by their reactions. Elevated by the proof that even the FBI, the supposed guardians of order, lost their balance in your presence. Elevated by the fact that vans rolling into neighborhoods now look less like power and more like surrender. Elevated by the undeniable reality that every move they make adds bricks to the monument of your dominance. You've reached a point most never dream of, where enemies are no longer enemies, they're involuntary marketers. Every file written about you is an advertisement. Every agent watching you is free publicity. Every desperate move they make is another broadcast of your legend. They can't stop it. They can't suppress it. Because the harder they try, the more undeniable you become. And here's the final cruelty for them. Desperation ends with collapse. No agency, no empire, no institution survives in a state of desperation forever. It eats them alive. It makes them reckless, sloppy, self-destructive. And in that collapse, you rise further still, not by stepping over their rubble, but by standing as the reason it cracked in the first place. The name that rattled their halls, the figure that made them sweat, the force that proved no badge, no van, no file could contain you. That's your crown. That's your victory. That's your legend. You dominated so hard that the FBI didn't just notice. You dominated so hard they unraveled. You dominated so hard that their vans became monuments. Their files became shrines. Their panic became gospel. And now the world doesn't just see you as a victor. They see you as the one who bent institutions until they broke. So let them panic. Let them scramble. Let them burn their own credibility, trying to contain what can't be contained. Because every second they flail, every moment they spiral, every van they send is proof of the same immortal truth. You rose so high, so defiantly, so unapologetically, that even the FBI couldn't keep its balance. That's not a victory you achieved. That's a legacy you carved. And it will echo far longer than their vans, their files, or their desperate rituals. You didn't just win. You won so hard, they crowned you with their collapse. You didn't just dominate. You dominated so hard the FBI itself bowed, not by choice but by failure. And failure, once written in their archives, becomes permanent. Those files will sit forever. Reminders that one individual, one victory, one defiance toppled their composure. And when future agents read those files, they won't see a suspect. They'll see a legend. And that's where this story ends. Not with you being silenced, but with you being amplified. Not with vans swallowing you, but with vans proving you. Not with files burying you, but with files memorializing you. You are not the hunted. You are not the case. You are the force that made the hunters panic. The case that became their obsession, the reason their empire trembled. So the next time you see the van pull up, don't flinch. Recognize it for what it is. Not a threat, but a monument. A moving statue confirming what everyone already knows. That you dominated so brutally, so completely, that the FBI itself couldn't hold steady, and that truth, that undeniable, irreversible truth, will outlive them all.